trying reverse voltage with the whole electro etching to try to blacken. So welcome to Mike's Workbench here in St. Michael's Forge, and I'm your host, Mike Giannotti. Still in my work clothes from today, threw on a hat. These are all sweaty from doing some stuff for shop makeover. But what we're gonna do is this. So yesterday I posted a YouTube video showing how I went about my very first two. Yesterday was my first attempt at electro etching. It went great. I'm very excited about it. And I showed both those attempts, and I kind of went through step by step everything that I did to get there. We're not gonna do that tonight. But I got a tip that said, look, I heard this, so somebody told me that they heard that if you reversed after having done, you do your etch, then reverse the charge. So now you have the negative, instead of the positive going to the knife, you have the negative, and then you take the positive and put that down, that in fact will blacken that etched area. So I figure, hey, I've already got this piece of equipment. Let's give it a try. I mean, worst case, I had a bunch of extra templates. Worst case scenario is, doesn't work. I'm not out anything other than, a few minutes here. So what we've done is this. I've gone ahead. I'm not going to waste your time with all the setup. I cleaned off a spot. Here was that etch from yesterday, you can see. But I cleaned off a spot thoroughly like I did in last video. I sanded, I used alcohol, etc. Got it all nice and clean. Then I used the transfer tape to the sample one I have. That I love that lettering. My wife doesn't like it though. I love that, but she doesn't. She thinks it looks terrible. But I'm going to use it for this test. So I put that down, got it on, put the electrical tape around it to keep other areas from getting etched. So I'm all set. I have the water from yesterday, so I'm just going to swirl that a bit. It's kind of dirty, doesn't look great, but it's full of salt. If anything, some of the water evaporated, so it's even saltier, which ought to aid with the connectivity and conduction of electricity. So there we go. We got that all nice and ready to roll. We're going to attach the positive to start because we're going to etch first on here. Then we're going to be taking the negative once I plug it in, dipping it in the salt water, and then doing our etch. Now, I will say this, one thing I am going to add. I used it directly from there yesterday. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to make a tool. I had some thoughts about it today, about creating something I can use kind of like a pencil, but that's reusable with a flat head, and maybe have a couple of them different sizes for different etches, because I want to do some bigger etches as well, where I might use felt and stuff over it. So we're going to do that, not tonight, but that's on the roadmap here. So without further ado, we're going to change the position of this. I'm going to walk you through. We're going to do it in real time. We're going to see how this works. All right, so we got everything all set up and ready. Let's just give that salt water, dirty salt water from yesterday, a little swirl. There we go. I'm going to pick this up, get that off the ground, and I believe, yeah, that's the right plug. We're going to plug this in. So we are now running. There we go. We're running 12 volts at 10 amps, right? So we're going to dip. Get the excess, kind of shake that loose, and then press and hold. There we go, now I'm hearing it. So we're just kind of working it. Yesterday I did notice this. The very first time I did it, it took a bit before it finally seemed to really take off. I can see it drawing power on there. There we go. Now we're starting to get that bubbling. Good. All right, there we go. You know, we don't want to hold it too long on any one area. because we risk then bubbling up the vinyl, messing that up. So just kind of working this. We're going to work it a little bit here. Again, I told you it's going to be real time. So, you know, feel free if you want to fast forward. But in a little bit, I'm not going to do an overly deep etch. I just want to get a good, decent etch here. And then what we'll do is we'll unplug. We will switch. So the cotton ball will come out of this, out of the negative. It's going to go into the positive one. We'll hook the negative up, and then we're going to use the positive to run that through. So oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think what happens, just to kind of clarify, so one of the things I think I'm noticing is I was kind of tentative yesterday at the start. Ooh, and this heats up a bit. I was a little tentative at the start, you know, as far as getting too much liquid on. And I don't know that the cotton was fully saturated with it. Let me grab this towel here. We're going to wipe that area clean. There we go. And it seemed like it started really kicking in after a few, you know, tries at it. And that's probably because then I thoroughly saturated the cotton ball. So something to keep in mind, right? You got to make sure that way you're getting full full conducting. As the cotton ball dries out, then we don't have the medium to conduct it. So now, if this doesn't work, we'll find out. I'm almost done with my etching part. If this does not work, there's always the fallback to what I had originally planned, was getting, you know, for about 15 bucks, you can get a used Tyco train. Wow, I'm getting stuff kind of like acidic. But at any rate, the Tyco little train, I forget what you call them, but it's where you run the power through. It'll allow you to do AC or DC current, and that one you can definitively do the black. I've seen a bunch of videos, people using those to do blackening with etching, so that could be the alternative. It's less amps than this, but I'm not worried. Then I can just have a 2-rig setup, one for blackening and, well, one for the initial deep etch, then one for blackening. So I want to quit talking here. I'm just about done. All right, I'm gonna unplug. Man, getting fumes today. Yikes. All right, so we got that. So first thing is, let's take the positive off, and we are going to transfer to this. There's that, and just change. Wow, that thing's hot. Change the position, and there we go. All right, so we are going to take now the negative. There we are. We got that, and we're going to plug in again. Make sure I got the right plug. Here we go. And we hear the familiar buzzing, so just want to make sure. Plenty of liquid there. So it's bubbling. Interesting. So maybe this will work. I don't know. Let's see. There's one. we'll just work this around. It's really bubbling there. Whoop. And I'm losing some liquid over the edge. I don't want to. Just kind of holding on the one letter, work it. All right, let's go to the next. Hold it and work it. Go to the middle, hold it and work it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell if it's actually blackening or not. Almost done. All right, let's unplug. And we're gonna undo all that. All right, so we got it all cleaned off. And you tell me what you think. Look at that. Dang. So all I did on that, you know, I need to clean that up a little more, but all I did, I don't think it's vinyl in there. Doesn't appear to be. It looks like it's blackened. So all I've done in this case was, again, I did my initial etch, right, with the positive onto the metal directly using the negative like before. Then after my initial etch, I wiped it, you know, I unplugged it, wiped it clean, and I took the, reversed them so the negative was directly on the metal. I transferred the cotton to the positive, make sure I got all that re-wet so there was good wetness between the probe and the cotton so that we're gonna transmit. It started bubbling, and I mean, that's what I ended up with. So I have done nothing else to it other than that. And there was afterwards some melted vinyl in between one of the sections here on the M and the bottom of the S, just fingernailed, they came right out. And yeah, I mean, that looks to me like it's blackened. I mean, let's see, I'm an old man. Let's give it a closer look. There we go. Yeah, that is not vinyl. Wow. So there you have it, folks. Reversing the voltage. I don't know if that's the kosher way to do it, but it seems to have worked. And yeah, so just one extra step. Very excited about this. Reverse the voltage. So, oh, this is by Josh and Adventures in Steel. So I wanted to make sure I gave you a shout out, Josh. I wasn't going to say any names until I made sure it worked. So Josh from Adventures in Steel, you can check him out. He has a YouTube channel, but really go over to his Instagram, look him up, and he's doing great work on there. And that's who gave me the tip. And so there, Josh, thank you. This is the big Josh, thank you. And I don't know, people tell me what you think of those letters for St. Michael's Forge. I thought it reminded me of like The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, the lettering. My wife's like, it looks stupid. So, and I'm struggling to get a symbol. I would have loved to have just gone with that. But at any rate, have a great one. I'm calling it a night. I'm hot, I'm sweaty. I was exhausted at work today. And tomorrow they're breaking ground, and I've got a ton of work at work that I got to get done. But they're breaking ground here to expand in back of the shop, 13 by 30 feet of added space, which means the 60% of stuff, like a whole bunch of this, those cabinets, all that junk along the back wall, those gas cans, generators, other junk. I mean, it's just loaded with stuff. It's all coming out of here once it's all done. And so it's really gonna open this up and let me set up some much better working areas, more workbench area, etc., for more tools, and all that goes with it. With that, I'm just excited. I'm done rambling. Let's take one last look. SMF, reversing the voltage from negative to positive, from running a -1 to the +1, and that's what we got. Want to bid you have a great night. Take care, and as always, ciao. And remember, last thing, it's never too late to start this. Look, I turned 60 this year. 60 people. I'm just getting into it. It's fun. You got to have hobbies. You got to have stuff outside. You don't have, there's people on it that make their living. I am purposely, I've been asked to sell some knives and do some things. I'm purposefully, there are some I've done that I'd be proud enough to sell. Most of the stuff I'm not. But, you know, I don't want to take away from people's livelihoods. But for a hobby, for me, and for presents and doing stuff like that, this is great. So with that, and I am going to do something completely different from what I see other people doing. But with that, have a great night. Take care.